talk today about healthy relationships. I have a quick question for you. How many of you think someday you will get married? Raise your hand. How many of you think you've met the person you are going to marry? You already know them, you think. You don't know, alright? You, maybe a few of you. Alright, so I'm going to ask you a question. If you know you want to get, does anybody think they're not going to get married? You're going to be single all your life. No, you don't know. Alright, so I want to ask you a question. Today we're going to talk about 4 kinds of love and how to build healthy relationships. So why is it that when I walk around these halls, I see couples who are in unhealthy, codependent, abusive relationships? It's because they don't quite understand the idea of having a healthy relationship and what that involves. See, I believe there are 4 danger signs that you need to be aware of, and we'll talk a little bit about this chart a little later. Friends, friends with benefits, dating, engagement, and marriage. Remind me to get to that. I've drawn it nicely for you, but sometimes I get off on tangents. So the bottom line is, every parent wants this for their kids. That was 6 years ago when my daughter, Katie, married Ryan, and that's my son on the other end, and my wife and I. So before my kids even started dating, well before they were barely out of the womb, I began to pray that my kids would meet the person of their dreams. Katie met Ryan when she was a freshman in college at Biola University. And they were both going through orientation. They became friends their sophomore year. Their junior year, he called me and said, "I'd like to begin to date your daughter," but he didn't use that word. He used the word, "I'd like to court your daughter." Now, girls, if you want to go out with some guy, get him to use the word court with your father, and then your dad's going to freak out. Because that idea has, I'm serious, I'm not just playing the field, I want to see if there's a future in this relationship. So they actually kind of sorted that out their sophomore year. By the time they were juniors, it was clear that he had marriage intentions. That would be that category. So this is how it went down. He said, "I'd like to have coffee with you." Ladies, that's how the guy should do it. He should take your dad out for coffee if he wants to propose to you. And this is what he said to me. He said, "Mr. Irwin, you know I've been seeing your daughter for the past year. Next year we'll be graduating. I would like her to be my wife, but I want your permission. May I have that permission?" I said, "Certainly, that'd be great." He goes, "I'd like to devise a plan on when and where I propose to her." I said, "Awesome. What's your plan?" He goes, "Well, aren't you guys going to Hawaii this summer?" I said, "Yes, we are. How about if I propose to her while you're in Maui on your vacation?" I said, "I love it. Now, you're going to be able to go with us." He goes, "Well, that's part of the plan. Let's tell her that I can't." "Really? Like you're going to show up and surprise her?" He goes, "Yeah. So you're going to begin your married relationship based on a lie." He goes, "Uh-huh." I go, "I love it." So this is how it went down. He comes from a family of 8 kids. And so he decided that he would tell her that he has a lot of younger brothers, that he was going to take his younger brothers on kind of a guy's camping trip one last time. And so that's how the plan went out. So she was very sad all during spring break because in a few months we're going on vacation. That's when he told her that he couldn't go because we were buying our tickets. So he shows up at our house the day before we're supposed to go to Hawaii, and he's in the van with the boys, his younger brothers. They got the camping gear, they got the Coleman stove, they got the lanterns, they got the sleeping bags. He even has a trip tip from Auto Club with the route they're supposed to be taking. She buys it hook, line, and sinker. She thinks he's on a camping trip. Actually, all they were doing was on the way to the airport to take him there because he's flying out there a day early. So, it's all set. He's going to propose to her at the Hula Grill in Maui. Now, last hour, like 7 kids, "Oh, been there, done that, know where that is." It's a cool restaurant on the beach in Maui, and they have live music. And during the intermission between band 1 and band 2, he had made arrangements with the owner of the restaurant to get up on stage, play her a song, and propose to her. So everybody knows about this. All the servers know this. The management knows this, so when we show up for dinner, of course, they give us the best table in the whole place. Right off the stage right. And so we're enjoying having some appetizers. My daughter doesn't recognize that my wife has slipped away. She doesn't pay any attention. That's because she's getting ready to film this whole thing, right? And so, as the band goes off, Katie's not paying attention. This is Katie, that's Ryan. John Daniel, my son, goes, "Hey Katie, let's dance." Now, that's kind of weird, your little brother, let's dance. She says, okay, so he whips her out onto the dance floor. He spins her around as Ryan's playing this Daniel Bedingfield song, "If You're Not the One." Now, everybody in the restaurant gets quiet because all the waiters are going, "Shh, be quiet." And so like it's like 400 people just go, "Oh," right? And they're all watching this thing. But my daughter, like she is, the firstborn, has her hands on her hip going, "Why are you here?" I mean, you can just see her little mind spinning going, "What's going on here? You're supposed to be camping." She has no idea what he's about to do. So as my wife's filming, he finishes the song. He kneels down on one knee in front of 400 people. And it was so cool because all the waiters are going, "Shut up!" You know, and they're telling everybody to be quiet. He kneels down, he looks her in the eye, he said, "Katie, you were the first girl I ever kissed, and you will be the last. Will you be my wife?" Now, on the film, we can barely hear this because my wife is like this. "All the time, baby." You know, and so she's crying through it. Every girl in the restaurant is going, "Oh, that's so romantic." Every guy in the restaurant is going, "Dang, that guy's good." And that's a hard act to follow. The whole week they were rock stars. Everywhere we went, people who were there came up to us. And that's how he proposed. They've been married 6 years now. And in 2 weeks, we will be grandparents for the first time. So, you say, how cool is that story? Now, what every guy in this room doesn't realize is every girl in this room who heard that story have dreamed and are dreaming about that day. And a life with someone who will love them for the rest of their lives. Most guys haven't thought much about that day. They're thinking about the honeymoon. And we'll just leave it at that. Now you say, really? Yeah, it doesn't come down to just that. But what we find out is that if you want to be in a healthy relationship, you need to recognize how to stay out of a bad relationship. So get your notes out. And I'd like you to turn to this front page. And I want to give you danger sign number 1. Here's what you got to understand. You need to know the difference between infatuation and real love. You need to know the difference between infatuation and real love. Now, there's a number of characteristics on that outline, infatuation, real love. We're going to have you do an assignment tonight from 1 Corinthians chapter 13 where you look at the biblical definition of real love. But just as you quickly speed read those 2 columns on the front page there, tell me what you see as the differences between infatuation and true love. Start with the very first statement, the very first one. What is the first big difference between infatuation and true love? What do you see there? And this will be on the camera for all the health classes forever in Oaks. Because you are the last semester of live health classes. Did you know that? This is it. We're filming. Everything's online after this. So what do you think? What's the difference? Do you have an idea? Look at that list there. Read your list. Infatuation, true love. What's the difference? First statement right out of the box. What's a big difference? Look at attraction. What is it? Say it. Okay, number 1. Physical attraction versus the total personality. When you're infatuated, you are like, whoa, she's hot. Or, oh, that guy, I can't wait to hang out with him, right? Now, in this room, there are mostly girls. Guys, it's a good day for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is a 2-to-1 ratio. Every guy has 2 girls. Now, first hour was 2 girls and like 14 guys. Girls are going, yeah, 1-7. I'm liking this. No, they weren't. They're going, dweebs. No, they didn't do that. They were very nice. Now, the bottom line is that. Look at another difference. Moves fast. When you are infatuated, you move fast, man. You're just like totally attracted. Now let's go back to my relationship with my wife. I've been married 34 years to that woman who was in that picture over there. 34 years. But she was 14 when we met, and I was 16. She was a freshman in high school. I was a junior. Any of you a freshman in here? Sophomores? All right, so sophomore girls, raise your hand. Can you fathom that you could have met last year as a freshman, your future husband? You're going, probably not. Now some of you have a little sparkle in your eye, like I'm not saying it out loud, but maybe. So she was a freshman, and we met in our youth group. So one advantage of going to church and having a youth group is you meet a potential dating pool. That would be this category right here. This category I'm not so happy with, but we'll talk about that later. All right? And so the bottom line is she was a freshman in our youth group, I was a junior, and what we did every summer, the new crop of freshmen would be introduced to the youth group. The seniors had to go off to the college group, and all of us sat in this auditorium. We had about 200 kids in our high school group, and they parade these new freshmen across the stage, introduce them, and then, so what do you think that was like? So this poor embarrassed freshman girl with all of her girlfriends are paraded across the stage, walked across, they introduce them, they come down the other side and sit down. And all the junior guys are going, yeah, good crop this year. Haha, yeah. Ooh, I get her number. She is smoking hot, you know. And they're all checking them out. And to be fair, you know, none of the freshman guys get that attraction from the junior girls. Junior girls are going, bored with that. Where are the senior guys? Where are the college guys, right? So there's always this date down thing. The guys are always checking out the younger girls because they can't get anybody their own age, right? And it's just the way it is. The bottom line is, you girls, no offense guys, girls between 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade are about 2 years ahead of the guys emotionally, maturity-wise, etc. And that's part of the problem. The guys are going, what's up with that? I've got it together. And the girls are going, no you don't. And so that's why girls always date older guys, right? Plus, older guys, if you're a freshman girl, most freshman guys aren't driving, right? So it takes a junior guy to get you to the game or get you to the dance or get you somewhere else. Because it's just not cool with daddy driving to the date, right? You know, and yeah, and you don't really want to ride on the back of his bike, and you can't walk everywhere. So there's all kinds of reasons why that happens, right? So it moves fast. Next, there's idealistic versus realistic. So as you see these, as I'm going down this list, circle them so you can kind of highlight the differences, or you have a marker, a yellow marker, just kind of highlight the differences. Notice, ladies, I have mine marked in pink, because that's your favorite color. How many pink's your favorite color? Nobody. I don't know why we say that. All right. Next, few people approve, and a lot of times your parents won't approve of this kind of physically oriented relationship because they see you as really clingy, you're moving too fast, and whatever you do, you should not be involved in public displays of affection with a guy you just met in front of your parents. That's a great way to end that relationship and for the guy to like never be seen again and, you know, just won't work. Frequent quarrels, conflict resolution. When they're infatuated, a lot of times you're fighting about stupid stuff. One's a taker, one's a giver, one's consuming, one's caring. All of that is part of infatuation versus true love. Second, danger sign number 2 is conditional versus unconditional love. If you're in it for the lifetime, for the long haul, you got to know whether you love that person unconditionally or conditionally. Now, question. As you're growing up, most of you are 16 or younger. Anybody older than 16 in the room? All right, so you're all 16 and younger. In your first 16 years of life, there are 2 primary people who have shown you unconditional love. One more than the other in most situations. Who are they?
Parents.
Your parents. Who shows more unconditional love, generally speaking?
Mom.
Ooh, we have a little discussion here. How many say fathers? How many say mothers? Very interesting. Some of you, that just highlights your relationship. You can't pick one. You say it's an unfair question. But early in your life,
It's like asking which one's your favorite.
this is true. Didn't I say you're my favorite daughter? I'm your only daughter, Dad. You know, that's what I told my daughter. You're my favorite daughter. Now, see, Ronnie came from a family of 8 kids, so yeah, they couldn't do that. You're my favorite 10-year-old. There's twins, Dad. Oh, Oh, that didn't work. All right, so when you're in your first 5 years of life, a lot of people bond with their mom. You know, because mom's the one who brought you into the world, and she reminds you when you mess up, and I can take you out, right? So she brought you into the world, and she goes through 10 months, 9 months. I don't want to say it's 9 months. It's 40 weeks. My daughter's about ready to burst. She's like walking like this. By the way, the funniest Facebook picture, which has nothing to do with this, was Ryan took a picture of her in her bikini backside. So it's just like you at the beach, and you're like, wow, she's hot still. Then she turns around and he takes a picture of this side. She's like 8.5 months pregnant. And all the people are like, yeah, checking out a pregnant lady. How do you feel now, you pervert? You know, and I thought it was pretty funny. Oh, and I can't imagine my wife, you know, parading around 8.5 months pregnant, you know, but kids today, they're so silly. Anyway, so the bottom line is, I have no idea why I shared that or what it has nothing to do with anything. All right. And this is all caught on tape. What we're going to do with this, I have no idea. Someday I'm going to do stand-up somewhere. I'm just going to get up and tell stories. Next, I love you because. So is that conditional or unconditional? I love you because? It's conditional. In other words, it's only true if what follows the because is still true. So let's experiment together. I love you because, why? Give me an answer. What would you say to that guy? I love you because you got pretty eyes. Good. I love you because you're honest. Girls have such nice characteristics. Now we'll go to the guys. I love you because
you're so kind.
You're so kind. We're going on with the nice guys.
Make good cookies.
You make me cookies.
Make me a sandwich.
Did you say make me a sandwich? 2 out of all three classes. We had someone say something of, I love you because you cook for me. You give me food. You make me sandwiches.
You give me food.
All right. Now, if you were a little more in this category, if you're in this friends with benefits category, now answer the question. I love you because... Huh?
You have a nice body.
Because you have a nice body. Because you're hot. Because what?
You're rich.
Because you're rich.
Nice legs.
You have nice legs. And what girls will never admit to you guys? Oh, I like your butt. You know? Oh, you're looking at my butt? I'm not sagging anymore then. Alright? Friends with benefits is not the way to go. Now look at the next one. I love you if. Is that conditional or unconditional?
Conditional.
Conditional. In other words, I'll love you only if these things remain true. Alright, let's someone who didn't answer. The Stanford girl. I love you if. What?
Sarah. Give me money.
If you give me money. There's a girl who knows her priorities. If you go out with her, she's going, you want to go out with me? You want to be seen with me? It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. Because I am worth it, baby. Alright. I love you if. Go ahead. Go ahead. I love you if.
If you like.
If you. I don't know. I'm some pressure.
If you do my homework.
If you do my homework. All right. So. If we thought about it, you know this gets to be kind of nasty, right? I'll love you if you kiss me, and I'll love you if you make out with me. I'll love you as long as you do exactly what I say, when I want to say it, and how I want to do it. I'll love you if you spend every waking minute with me. Ooh, yeah, that's right. We're going to get to that in just a second. So those are all conditional. So the last one is the one we're interested in. I love you in spite of. If you're gonna love someone unconditionally, let me tell you, after being married for 34 years, it's I love you in spite of. There are things that I do that my wife has to put up with. I have things I put up with her, and I love her in spite of. So, for instance, the kind of love that I'm talking about, that you're hopefully going to find that person someday, is the kind of love like my folks had, who were married 56 years, but after their 50th wedding anniversary, my dad came down with Alzheimer's. And for the last 6 years of my parents' life, my mom had to care for my dad. That's I love you in spite of. Was it great for her? It wasn't great. He began to not recognize people. It was a tough, tough thing. And what we found out was, when you say you really love someone, we know that only when things get tough. And maybe you've seen that with your grandparents and how they've cared for one another. And so, interestingly enough, we say, I love you because of all these characteristics. and all these other things, but when it comes right down to it, biblical love says, I'm making a commitment to you no matter what. I'll stick by you for richer or for poorer, for better or for worse, till death does do us part. My dad, as he got older, my mom had to cook him the same exact thing for over 2.5 years. Every day for breakfast, a muffin and a half a cup of coffee. Every day for lunch, a half a tuna sandwich. And for whatever reason, he got fixated on chili rellenos from Don Jose's Mexican restaurant, which is a big chain restaurant down in Orange County. In fact, she bought so many of those, the folks at Don Jose began to give her this discount price because they sell her 30 of them at a time, so she could freeze them and put them in the freezer because that's all he wanted to eat. That is, I love you in spite of. And so when you meet that kind of person, then you know, hey, you've kind of moved past danger sign number 2. Number 3 is danger sign number 3 is unhealthy dependence. Unhealthy dependence. Flip your page over. Unhealthy dependence versus independence. Now let me describe this person to you. Have you met that couple? You've seen them in the commons out here, that they're just hanging on each other all the time. There's a lot of public displays of affection. They seem to be fighting. They got mad jealousy, all of that. You've seen that kind of couple? So, here's what we're going to do very, very quickly. Girls, you're going to break up and go to that corner. Guys, you're going to come up to this corner. In small groups for 4 minutes, you're going to list all the characteristics of an unhealthy dependent relationship. Then one girl, one guy are going to come up and we'll play Family Feud, and you'll see who comes up with the most answers. On your mark, get set, go. You have 3 minutes. We'll stop as we speak.
Hey guys.
Howdy, y'all.
So we're stopping the film.